I'm Logan Sella here on behalf of HOMTV. Today I'm joined by Jane Greenway, who is the Parks and Land Management Coordinator here in Meridian Township. We're here to talk about the deer management program in Meridian Township for this upcoming fall. Jane, how are you today?
Oh, great. How are you?
Never better. The deer management program, I know it's been going, this is 10 going on 11 years. Just kind of give me, your view of the program in a nutshell. I'd imagine it's been going for so long. It's been pretty successful, yeah?
It has, yes. And this will be our 11th year. But 11 years ago, and for 10 years prior to that, we had residents calling and complaining all the time about saying things like, my wife got in a car accident with a deer, I did, my teenager, we can't grow any plants. So finally, the township board said, okay, Parks and Rec department, figure out how to handle this. And so we put together with the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, a management plan and figured out how we could conduct basically a suburban deer cull. And that's what we've done. We started 11 years ago. It was only 25 hunters, like 7 properties, and it was very limited. So we started very slowly. And now we have 85 hunters on 41 properties. So we have hunters placed virtually everywhere we can in Meridian Township where it's safe. So we have over 2,000 acres of parks and land preserves in Meridian Township. And we also have some county parks and county land. So that's where everyone is, but it's very safe. It's all archery. For the most part, our hunters are in a tree stand, so they're elevated shooting down, and all of the parks and land preserves remain open during the archery season.
Yeah, I guess maybe I should have included that. So archery season is right around the corner. October 1st it opens, correct?
Correct. Archery season every year is October 1st through January 1st. And there are a couple of early hunts, like this past weekend was an early antlerless hunt, and the weekend prior to that was the youth hunt. We don't participate in either of those weekends, but yep, it's all during archery season, and it's all archery, no firearms at all.
So I know obviously the hunting is a big part of it, but it goes further than that. I know last year there was a venison donation to food banks and local people in need. Is that something that just started, or has that been part of the program for a while?
Yeah, that we have always wanted to donate to the hungry, to do something good with this program. So there's a few good benefits about the program. Number one, there's the main thing for us is there's less damage to the parks and preserves. So a lot of these properties were acquired because of their sensitive ecological features. And when the deer are in there over browsing, you can't get, the regeneration of oak trees and things like that need to be happening. Another thing is it reduces the deer car collisions to harvest the deer, but probably most importantly, the venison gets donated all around the community. And we love that. It's the processing of the deer is all funded by Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger. And that's an organization that is funded by private donations. And also if you buy a fishing license, a deer license, any of those, there's an option on there that says, would you like to add $1 for Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger? And so that's how we've been able to do this. So essentially we're doing this at such a low cost, especially to communities like Ann Arbor and East Lansing, who have spent, tens of thousands of dollars hiring professional sharpshooters. We have our residents doing it instead. And they have fun out being out in their own backyards. And we have more eyes and ears in our parks and land preserves, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I know, just reading about it, it seems like it's becoming more and more of a community event. I know last year they added a police call to help with the deer overpopulation. I assume that's going to make a return in this fall. That's kind of a new wrinkle. What did you think of that last year?
Yeah, we were nervous. Last year was the first, so the police call is firearms, and that comes after the archery. So that goes like January and February. So the police operate under a special DNR permit. that allows them to do that. But at first, I've always been nervous about that. I've just thought that we were kind of riding a fine line of acceptance with the community, and we've worked so hard to get this program accepted, particularly when you compare it to places like East Lansing and Ann Arbor, where they had a lot of opposition and spent a lot of money. And it's proven to be so successful and safe. So I was pretty nervous about the police call. But of course, being the amazing officers that Meridian Township has, they did it quietly and quickly, and they were able to make a real dent in the police in the deer car collisions. And the situation is that we have so many deer, so many. And then of course, each of those does have like 2 or 3 babies and on and on and on. So this has to be an ongoing situation. If the wildlife biologists tell us if you remove all of the deer or coyotes from an area, other ones eventually trickle back in there. So it's a tricky balance to try to work around, but we're doing what we can based on the DNR's advice.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know the traffic and deer collisions that's the biggest issue. I mean, and I'm sure, has that been an issue so far this fall, before the archery season begins?
Yeah, and you really see the impact of those, like a couple years after the call. So we might not even, next year might be the year when we see those deer car collision numbers come down because of the harvest that was done last year. So, but it is, Meridian Township has a really high number of deer car collisions for the state. And like I said, the damage to the land preserves and parks and things like that. We spend a lot of time on stewardship of our natural areas, and it's hard to see it, them so devastated by the deer overbrowsing.
Yeah, so I guess less than 2 weeks away. Is everything set in place, or are you still working on getting things ready for the start of the season, or is everything ready to go?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's almost hunting season when it's like 80 degrees out. And
Right.
One thing that's kind of cool, last year was the first year we got a cooler. So that makes it a lot easier, because when our hunters go out, say they harvest a deer on Sunday night and they have to go to work the next day, I mean, they have to figure out how to keep that deer cool in order to donate the venison. And so we got a big walk-in cooler. And so the hunters are able to store their deer in there. And then we take them down to the beef barn in Jackson and get them processed. And then we go pick up the venison and distribute thousands and thousands of pounds all around the community. And it's, I'm told it's very well appreciated, kind of a fresh protein rather than canned or prepackaged foods.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate getting to talk to you. Thanks again for your time, Jane. I appreciate you making the time, and this was cool to talk about. I'm kind of learning more about this. I'm not a Meridian resident or anything, but I appreciate your perspective.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap us up here. I'm Logan Sella with HOMTV. You can read more about what Jane has to say, as well as the deer management program, on our website, homtv.net. That'll do it. Thanks again for listening, and have a good day.